create a new Tableau sheet. And so we're going to just start from scratch. There's nothing to download or pre-made. And we'll create some, some charts and then put them in a dashboard. And along the way, we'll learn all these skills. So let's connect to the data. And to keep it very simple, the data set is the world indicators, just like we learned in week 1. We use that same data set, the world indicators. So I hope you were able to catch that. So once you connected the data, you have these lists of dimensions and measures and so on. So if you didn't catch that, you connect to data, go all the way down on the left side. The last item is world indicators, and click on that to connect to that data set. Okay. Okay, so I've connected there. So remember last time we did some maps maybe, so let's create a map. And the way to create a map is take the country region, which is a map or geographic data type, and just drag it into the center of the view, drag it into the center of the canvas. And now you have dots for every country. So you could start formatting this right now. There's so many things you can do. You can change the size of the dots. So let's decrease the sizes. Okay, so if you want to show the population of the countries, you can drag population total into tooltip or label. If you do it over label, it's going to be very busy, but let's put it on tooltip. Now you see population. If you want to format the tooltip, you go to open the form, click on the tooltip to open it, and you can delete, let's say, country region, because that's self-explanatory. And then you can highlight it to set the bold or the size to, let's say, 20 and bold it. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. I'm just showing you at this stage some of the formatting work that could be done. Okay, so now you see country and population equals that. Okay. Let's just say for now you have one sheet. This is the map, and let's call it a map. Change the name of the sheet. Let's create a second sheet, sheet number 2, and let's measure the population against the GDP. So really simple analysis. Let's say the population is in the row, so let's drag population into the row shelf, and let's drag the GDP into the column shelf. As you remember, there's only one dot because it's aggregating everything, all the countries' population and all the countries' GDP. So let's go to analysis and uncheck the aggregate measure. So you can uncheck that. And now you see a bunch of countries and their GDPs. So again, the circles, the dots look very messy. Just making sure the values look right. Maybe it's missing the country label, so let's put country into the tooltip, and the name of the country into the tooltip. So country region into the tooltip, drag it over tooltip and drop it. Oh, so the problem is we're seeing this strange data set is because this data set has many years. And maybe we want to limit it to one particular point in time. So you take year and you might want to filter it. And then let's say you pick an individual date. And let's choose the most recent year we have. So now you'll look a lot more organized, because before you were showing every single year for each of the countries. Still, the circles are a little big, so I like to shrink them a little bit. Okay. And then you can format the shape and the style. You can make them solid. Okay, maybe that's about right. And you can set the transparency. If you go to color, you can set the transparency. So even if they overlap, they kind of, you can still see the other circles. So we learned all this in the first week. So we have 2 charts now. what else do we, maybe let's make a third chart so we can have a dashboard. Let's call this the scatter plot, or whatever we scatter. Okay, plot. Maybe the last one could be just a data table. Okay, so the data table always goes country. Maybe we could even put region before the country, so you drag region to the left of country, right? So this data table has this, and in terms of the value, we could pick anything we want. So let's pick the population then, just to keep it really simple. Drag population over the ABCs. Okay. So let's call this just a table. Okay. Now that we have 3 items, we can create the dashboard. Let's go ahead and do that. So I created a new dashboard. So map, I can drag it on top. The video talked about containers. So the containers are here, the horizontal container, the vertical container. Let's create a vertical container. So the map is the top half and the bottom half might be the data table, let's say, and the scatter plot, let's say, right? So what you could do with a dashboard at this stage is you could go to the dashboard and you can say, I want to export an image. So you could actually put this into your report, right? So this is basically saving that file. And then next, it's a little slow. You could also leave it in Tableau. You can publish it in Tableau public, just like what we did. But you know, there's a lot of different ways you can share it with other people. But I think most likely if you want to put it in a PowerPoint or something, you can export it as an image. Okay. I might have to quit my Tableau because of the technical difficulties. Okay. So that's one thing you could do with the Tableau. Okay. Always save your file. In this case, I did not save my file. Okay. Well, so it kind of saves a copy of it. So luckily, it auto saves it. Okay, so let's say we have the data table, we have the scatter plot. In the video, they talked about just holding down the shift key. If you hold down the shift key, you can move this any way you want. I don't recommend it unless you really know what you want, because you can make a very messy design. View. Okay, so let's keep it at tile. So the other parts of the dashboard is you can change some of the dimensions if you go to size. So you can increase the width, increase the height, as you see. And you can go to layout to change even more of these properties. If you select a specific tile, you can change all the properties of that single tile. So the shortcut is to say floating or not floating. And if you make a mistake, you can always undo. Okay. And the border setting, the background color. So for example, here, you won't see it much here, but let's say this one, the border, let's say make it solid, very thick. And the background. You know, by now I'm not trying to make it nice. I'm basically showing you the functionality. So that's one a few of the dashboard things. Question?
Like if I want to pan and zoom in into a part of the map, would I like fix it as a view in my dashboard?
Yes, yes. So anytime you're in dashboard and you want to go into the sheet, you can either click on this arrow or you can drop down and say go to the sheet. And once you're in the sheet, there's a map setting. If you go to map options, you can uncheck many of these things, including allow, pan, and zoom. So for whatever reason, if I want to zoom in the Mediterranean, if you hold down shift again, you can drag, your mouse will drag. Yeah, so then let's say this is your view, you can say the user cannot change it again. The user, you're gonna go to map options, uncheck that pan and zoom. And in the future, especially put it on the web page, once it's on the web page, the user won't accidentally scroll and zoom in and zoom out. They'll continue scrolling the main page, which is a nice thing to have. The other thing about maps is, since you asked, if you go to map layers, this new panel opens up and the map layers show you many different options. And one of the things you should always try is this option, the style. You can go a street map where you actually get the street level views. And then you can go into outdoor. This is more like a nature view. And you can set the opacity. Sometimes you want the data to show rather than the map itself. And you can uncheck many of these boxes. So that's up to you. Yeah, the base you should leave. Okay, so you can even try to play with this data sets that's included, but I actually don't know how accurate and how good they are. So that's one option, but no data layer. You should use your own data layer. So the map option is, I think, a must do if you are creating your own maps. Okay. So this is, let's say, the dashboard. The other thing about dashboards, if you go back, remember the video, there's all these elements. Think of these as like PowerPoint objects. In PowerPoint, you drag these objects into here. So one of the neat things about dashboards is, let's say I have two dashboards. This is dashboard 1, and let's say I duplicate this and call this dashboard 2. You can insert and add a navigation object. So it's like a menu object. And let's say I put it on the top here. So this navigation, maybe I put 2 of them. Okay, so this navigation can actually send the user to the other dashboard. Can go to dashboard 2 if they click on that. So that's a very neat feature. You can have your own menu system that way. You can edit the button and change the name as well, the title. So go to dash 2. Okay, so I've already selected the link. Think of it as like a web link. So if I were to preview this and click on this, you'll go to dashboard 2. And likewise, if I'm in dashboard 2, I can create another button that goes to dashboard 1. And then I have a full navigation. So you just open it, say, make this go to dashboard 1. And you apply, okay, preview. So this goes back. So you're kind of going back and forth. So that's how you build an entire dashboard menu if you have more than one dashboard to navigate between these things. Some of the students in the presentation created stories in Tableau. You can create like a slideshow in Tableau if you use this new story icon. So when I clicked on it, this, page 1 of slide 1, so I can put this map into slide 1. And then I can also continue adding more slides, more slides into here. By clicking on the blank one, as many as I need. And I can put other dashboards here. I can put dashboard 2 here, and I can put the scatter plot here. But just to give you a sense, this is a slideshow design in Tableau. So it's a story view. Especially if you're doing storytelling and making points, you can add many things here. You can add text here. And you can rearrange anything you like. But I find myself not using the stories as much as other software that does stories very well, better than Tableau. Going back to the dashboard, you can, we talked about navigation. You can add the web page object, which we have used extensively. You can add the image object, and you can, add the text object, which is just a text box. And you can even use this as a blank space to create some empty space. Okay. And so that's pretty much what dashboards can do. There's a lot of refinements and editing you can control for each of the tiles, each of the modules. But yeah, that's the dashboard features. Any questions on dashboards or further things you'd like to do with dashboards?
I have a basic question. Can you zoom out and see the entire dashboard or zoom in, or it's just the size that you defined there?
It's, I believe it's fixed.
Okay.
It's whatever dimension we set here. Yeah, so I don't think you will zoom in and zoom out. You would need to just pick that size. Although there is a mobile view, so it automatically tries to format it for mobile. Sometimes it's not so pretty. So you will create a new dashboard that's like dashboard on the mobile, and you would manually edit it. So you unlock this and you can edit it, and then your mobile view. So, it's when you go mobile, it's very difficult because you have so much visual, you have such limited visual space and so much to show. So I could show you an example of the dashboard I was working on, and it took a long time. It took a long time to perfect it or to design it. So this is the Human Development Index. This is all just a Tableau dashboard, basically. So let me put this in full screen so we can look at this example as opposed to just staying in Tableau. So we embedded this dashboard, this whole thing starting from introduction to the bottom of this, and we designed everything in Tableau using the dashboard features. And there's navigation buttons here. So if you click here, you get a different dashboard, and a bunch of scatter plots here with different, filters and so on. And then even you can embed entire web pages here, so that we embedded a different websites data here. So this is not built in Tableau. This is just embedding a little HTML widget or web page URL into here. And then you can put in just an empty, this is a dashboard with just text links. And the text links have URLs users can click to update the PDF files. They can read the reports. So when you go mobile, let's see what happens. If you shrink the browser and say you're on your phone, yeah, it auto adjusts. Let's see. Yeah, so this is a whole new dashboard design. We had to just redo everything and create a different dashboard for this. Yeah, and we removed some of the features because there's just too much to recreate everything for mobile view. And we don't think, decision makers or managers will use their phones to dig into this data and do filtering and everything. So we left it, as best we can, but not, you don't have to perfect it.